Learning Hachzek Musar Yomi. We're up to page 290 in the article edition of Rabeinu Yona, as we're in a long and lengthy discussion of Lav She'in By Ma'isa, and we're within the discussion of Lavim, Isuri Daraisa, that are totally b'machshava, that are totally believe in one's thoughts and one's mind. And on the 13th Isser, says Rabeinu Yona, v'nishmartem mikol davara, says the pasuk in Devarim, you should watch yourself from anything evil, pershur zechon devracha. Says the Gemara in Ksubis, you got to be careful of anything evil. What does that mean? Don't have negative and lustful and inappropriate thoughts by day, which bring one to impurity at night while sleeping. Even though that when he has those impure thoughts, maybe when he sees those impure sights, he didn't do it with intent to come to Aveira. But still, the fact that it brings to such, that is such an Aveira. And says Rabeinu Yona, and the Torah says, learn from the context. What does the next pasuk say? The next pasuk says, someone is not tar, someone who has a seminal emission at night. What do we see? We see that is the ra, that is the evil that the previous pasuk was referring to, even though, of course, it wasn't his intent, and he wasn't having those thoughts or seeing those sights, maybe to do the Aveira, but still it is considered that, because that is the direct consequence. Continues Rabeinu Yona, 14th Isser of Lo Sasurach V'Levavcha V'Achreinechem. On the heels of the previous Isser, says Rabeinu Yona, says the Torah in Bamidbar, one should not go after his heart and his eyes. The Torah warns us. One should not plan, one should not think to do an Aveira, or in any rebellious act or chata or sin, one who thinks about doing evil. Says Rabeinu Yona, what does this mean? What's the second thing? It means one should not think about words of the minim, about people who are antithesis to Torah, to the heretics. Lest one stumble and actually be drawn after them. Says Rabeinu Yona, when we realize that Hashem is able to understand our thoughts, to understand what's in our mind and what's in our heart, and then one has to realize, how can one have such an audacity to make our heart impure with things that cling to it and contaminate it? Hashem knows. Hashem is living there and sees those thoughts. How could one have such audacity? Says Rabeinu Yona, teaches Shlomo HaMelech, Zimas iveles chatos. Zima, sinful designs, are they themselves an aveira? Vaydamru sas shesh heina sani Hashem v'shevet tavas nafshay. Hashem hates these six, and the seventh is a teivas and b'amadishin leave charash machshavos avan, a heart that plots. Machshavos avan, these terrible thoughts. Continues Rabeinu Yona, a 15th Isser, Aveira, Lav, that's totally b'machshava b'leiv. Lo sisa shem hashav. Says Rabeinu Yona, do not accept a false report. Hazarnu bazeh, we're warned, shall likabel lashon hara, that we should not accept lashon hara. K'moshamar targum, as the Targum says, lo likabel shema dishaker, do not accept a false report. And the final and last, Aveira Lav, shatoli b'machshava b'leiv, lo yisachmaid beis reyecha, do not be sachmoid. Do not desire, do not covet your friend's house. Do not desire your friend's house. We're warned. We're warned not to have terrible ideas and plans. To take the field, to carry the vineyard, and to take anything of our friend, even if we'll pay for it. I'll pay you for it. But we have these evil schemes to get it away from him. That's this Issa Daraisa. And the Issa is the machshava. To even think about, how am I going to get that guy's this or that guy's that. We're forbidden to think in our mind and resolve shenemar loy sach moid. And the reason being, says Rabeinu Yona, that even though maybe he'll reluctantly agree to sell it to you eventually, but says Rabeinu Yona, v'michsav adam, if a person desires shimkul lechaver or sadar or karim his field or his vineyard or one of his items, he has a nice new watch, he has a nice new car, and you really want it, But the owner doesn't want to sell it. But if you push it, but if the owner's going to be embarrassed if you keep on begging, you keep on pushing to sell the item. Asr livsarba. If you know he doesn't want to sell it, and then you push and you prod to the point that he feels bad. He feels bad saying no. That is the isser kizak kimayachreach va'iners, because that's like forcing him to sell it. More so, if you want to buy an item of someone who's chashiv, that'll never turn down. The guy's an upstanding individual. You go over to him and say, I really would love to buy your car. And he's a chashiv guy, he's a nice guy, he's not going to say no. Asr lishli, you're not even allowed to ask him. You're not even allowed to ask him to sell or give him something unless you know. Lets you know that he's willing and wants to give, and he will not be in any pain to give it to you. Those were the incredible 16 Aveiros Rabeinu Yona listed, Lavim Shetoli B'machshava B'dibur.